Hi all. In this lecture, let's talk about CCA 175 Real-Time Exam Scenario 15. Let's see the data description. All the order records are stored at user Spark dataset retail_db orders. All the customer records are stored at user Spark dataset retail_db customers. And the schema of orders and customers data is also provided. The output requirement says that find out the customers who have made more than 5 orders. Customer name must start with M. Use text format for the output files. Use pipe as a field separator and use gzip compression. Place the result data in HDFS directory. Output should only contain customer first name, customer L name and count. Output should be sorted by count in descending order. So in order to solve this problem statement, we should know how to read CSV data as a data frame in Spark. Then we have to apply a group by operation on top of orders data to calculate the count based on the customer ID. Then we have to join this data set with the customer's data set. And finally, we have to sort the data in descending order based on the count. And we also have to save this data in HDFS using pipe as a separator and gzip compression. So let's go to the lab and see. This is my Spark shell. Let's read the data first. So I'm gonna say well cust is equal to spark.read.csv and then providing the CSV HDFS path. Okay, so this is my path. And then I'll be providing the logical column names as well. So I'm gonna say dot 2df and here I'll be providing the column names. So these are my column names. So we got the data customers. Let's see some of the data. So I'm gonna say cust.show and just give me top 5 records. Okay, so this is my customer data. Now let's read the other data frame. Let's read the order data. For that, I'm going to say well orders is equal to spark.read.csv and then providing the path, the HDFS path, and then providing the logical column names to df and okay, so we got the orders data frame. Let's see some of the data. Let's see the 5 records, top 5 records. This is my orders data. So what we have to do now? We have to apply a group by operation on top of orders data and we have to calculate the count of number of orders made by each customer. So for that we can say that where result is equal to orders dot group by, and inside group by we can specify the column and my column is order customer ID. So this is my column. Now let's provide the column here. Okay, now I have to calculate the count of orders. So I'm gonna say dot count. Let's see the data first. Okay, let's see result dot show and just give me 5 records. This is how the data looks like. So we have order customer ID and we have the order count. We have to filter the data based on the total number of orders. That is, we are only interested in the customers who have made more than 5 orders. For that, I'm gonna say result is equal to result dot filter and providing the filter condition here. So my filter condition will be, I'll be saying give me the data where this column count contains more than 5 records. Okay, now let's see the data result dot show and give me 5 records. Okay, now we can clearly see that we have only those customers where the count is greater than 5. Now The next step will be joining this data frame with the other data frame customers that we have based on a column, and then filtering the data, filtering the customers having first name like where the first name starts with M character. So let's do that. So I'm gonna say result is equal to result dot join. So joining this data frame with the other data frame that we have customers, and my joining conditions will be, I'm gonna say orders dot column, and the column name is order customer ID. Order customer ID. This column is equal to okay, so this will be not orders but result, because now we have the data frame result and not orders, and then joining it with the data frame customer based on the column customer ID, customer underscore ID. Now this is the join condition. On top of this join condition, I'm gonna say filter the records, and filter the records based on the column customer first name. Okay, now we have to say like this, because we have to call a function like, so we have to say column, and then we have to provide the value customer f name, and then dot like, and inside dot like we have to provide this M. Okay, now from this data frame I'm only interested in 3 columns, so I'm gonna say dot select. From this data frame only select the columns customer underscore f name, the second column is customer underscore L name, and the final column that I'm interested in, the count column. Now we have to sort this output, we have to sort this data frame based on the count column in descending order. So for that I'm gonna say dot sort, and in descending order based on the column count. Okay, so this is my final result. Let's see some of the data. So let's say show 5, give me top 5 records. So this is my final result data frame. We can see that we have customers where the first name starts with the letter with the character M, and we can see that the count is greater than 5. The order count is greater than 5. Now the other requirement is we have to save this data in HDFS in text format using pipe as a delimiter and gzip as a compression. So for that I can say result dot map, because it's a data frame and I have to save it as a text file, so I have to convert every row into a string. So for that I'm gonna say for every row call a row dot make string, and we have to use pipe as a field delimiter. So this is my field delimiter. Then dot write, which returns a data frame writer, dot option, and my option is we have to provide a compression. So in my case my compression is gzip compression, and my compression is gzip compression, and I have to save this data as a text file, and now I'll provide the location of the data, and we are done. So let's validate. Let's copy the path, go to the other shell that we have, and let's do HDFS DFS-ls and providing the path, providing the output path that we have. So the output path is this. Let's see some of the data. Now we can clearly see that we have files created here with .txt, .gz extension. So this is one way of solving this problem statement. The other way of solving this problem statement is we can use a SQL query here. So let's go and see the other approach. Let's go back to the shell that we have. Okay, so we have the customer's data frame, and I'm gonna say cust dot create or replace temp view and providing the view name. So my view name will be, let's say, customers. And then we have orders data frame with us, and I'm gonna say create or replace temp view, and let's provide a name here that is orders. Now on top of these two views, I'll be firing a SQL query. Let's do that. So I'm gonna say, well, result is equal to spark.sql, and then here I'll be providing my SQL query. So my query will be select, let's say I'm gonna give a name to my orders view as O and my customers view at C. So I'll be saying orders dot customer ID. We have to fetch this, and we have to fetch customer dot customer underscore first name and customer dot customer underscore last name. And then we have to calculate the count of records. Let's give this column name a name count, CNT. Now we have to fetch this data from orders O join customers C, and then we will be providing the join condition on orders O dot order customer ID, O dot order customer ID, which is equal to customer dot customer ID, customer underscore ID, and where C dot customer F name like M. So that means customer first name starts with M character, and this is my data, and I have to group this data, group by order dot order customer ID and customer dot customer F name and C dot customer L name. Now this is my group by condition. Then I have to say having count of 1 is greater than 5. Now I'm filtering the results which will be after group by clause, and then order by count in descending order. So this is my query. So I'm saying that we are interested in customer ID, first name, last name, and we have to do a count. So I'll have to do a group by customer ID, first name and last name, and then we'll have to put a where clause to filter out only the customers where the first name starts with M character, and finally from this grouped data we have to filter the records wherein the order count is greater than 5. Okay, now in the final output we are only interested in customer first name, last name and count. So here I'm gonna say select customer F name and customer L name, and the final column that we have is count, CNT. Okay, you can give it any other name of your choice, and then this is my result data frame. So I'm gonna do result.show and give me 5 records just to see the data that we have. Now this is our data. We can clearly see that customer first name is starting with M character, and we are only able to see the data wherein the count is greater than 5 records. So finally we have to save this data into HDFS. Now the data is already placed there, so what we can do is we can use a save mode here. So for that I'm going to say import org.apache.spark. Okay, so result dot map, and converting every row into row dot make string, providing pipe as a delimiter, field delimiter. Then on top of it, we have to say dot write dot option, and my option is we have to provide compression as well, and my compression will be gzip. And then I have to say dot mode, my mode will be save mode dot overwrite. And then finally we have to save this data in text format. So I'm gonna say dot text and providing the path. Okay, so we are done. We can again go back to the other console that we have, and we can do HDFS DFS -ls, providing this complete HDFS path. And we can clearly see that there are files created with .txt, .gz. That means the file is in text format with the gzip compression applied to it. So guys, we have solved this problem statement using two different approaches. So in this lecture, we have learned how to read CSV data as a data frame in Spark. Then we have applied a group by operation on top of data frame. We have learned how to join two different data frames based on several columns. And finally, we have sorted the data frame based on the column in descending order. And then we have learned how to save a data frame in HDFS in text format using pipe as a field delimiter and gzip as a compression. Thank you.